Here's yet another example of a trinomial for us to factor. Looking for a common factor, always do that first. There is no common factor that the coefficients share other than 1. The only factors of 25 are 1 and 25, 5 and 5, and the only thing they share with these two coefficients is that factor of 1, which doesn't do us any good to divide that out. And there is no common variable, so there's no common factor I can divide out. So I attack this as a trinomial. Trinomials factor into the product of two binomials. That's a plus. How do I get a plus? Two pluses, two minuses. Since that's a plus, it was two pluses in the binomials. Now, list the factor pairs that make the first term of the trinomial. How can I make 16x squared? That would be 1x times 16x, 4x times 4x, 2x times 8x. Right? Those would be the possible factor pairs that would make 16x squared. Now list the factor pairs of the third term. That would be 1 and 25, 5 and 5, wouldn't it? So let's pick a pair from this group. And again, I always start with the numbers that are closer together. A lot of times that works, sometimes it doesn't, but you need to have a starting point. That's the starting point I always pick. So I would pick the 5 and the 5 if I were making my first check of the O and the I of FOIL. So now, the O of FOIL, under this arrangement, 4x times plus 5 is going to give us plus 20x, isn't it? And here, under this arrangement, plus 5 times 4x is also plus 20x. Oh, that's nice. Plus 20x more equals plus 40x, and we've found the factorization of that trinomial. That's kind of interesting. The factorization of that trinomial was two identical binomials. 4x plus 5 times 4x plus 5. Oh, but remember, what does that mean to multiply something times itself? Isn't that the same as saying that you are squaring that quantity? So another way to write the factorization of that trinomial would be to write it as the square of 4x plus 5. Because squaring 4x plus 5 means write 4x plus 5 down twice and multiply. So these two are equivalent. So we can either express the factorization of this trinomial in this fashion or in this fashion, depending upon whether we want to write the factors separately or write it with an exponent.